In the mid-1800s, the famous archaeologist Pierre Devereux was dedicated to uncovering the secrets of the Paris Catacombs. Devereux claimed that the catacombs were not only a mass burial site but also an ancient ritualistic arena. Legend suggested that people from the Roman era used these underground tunnels to attempt to communicate with the dead. However, this theory was ridiculed by the scientific community. Devereux, determined to prove his theory, decided to venture into the catacombs alone. Armed only with a compass, a few lanterns, and a journal, Devereux descended into the catacombs. At first, everything seemed normal. He was discovering ancient stone markings and carvings, diligently documenting them. However, as he ventured deeper, he noticed his compass spinning wildly. The air grew heavier, and it felt as though an eerie silence was wrapping around him with each step. Eventually, Devereux came across a strange formation of skulls, arranged in a spiral shape, rising from the floor to the ceiling. At the top, there was a stone plaque inscribed with the Latin phrase, ingressus sine regressu, entry with no exit. As he examined the structure, a woman's voice echoed faintly, calling his name, Pierre. Panic set in as Devereux tried to retrace his steps, only to find himself trapped in a maze of identical tunnels. No matter which way he turned, he was met with the same walls and the same passages. Days passed, but Pierre never found his way out. Search parties sent to rescue him only found his journal and a few scattered belongings. The last entry in his journal read, "This is not a maze, it is a living being. It will not let me go." Even today, some explorers claim that when they venture into that region of the catacombs, their compasses stop working, and they hear faint whispers in the dark. Pierre Devereux's fate remains a mystery. During the violent days of the French Revolution in 1793, a group of revolutionaries used the Paris Catacombs as a meeting place. The leader of this group was a passionate young idealist named Marguerite Lafleur. Marguerite not only supported the revolution, but she also believed that the spirits of the dead could help the living achieve eternal freedom. She was convinced that invoking the ancient powers of the underworld would solidify the revolution's success. Marguerite gathered a group of 12 revolutionaries and led them deep into the catacombs to perform a ritual. The chamber they found was surrounded by skulls and bones. In the center, they placed a stone table with the revolutionary flag and an ancient inscription. Marguerite began the ritual with the chant, "Let the wisdom of the dead guide the strength of the living." At first, everything seemed to be proceeding as planned. The revolutionaries believed the ritual would empower their cause. However, when they felt a faint tremor beneath the stone table, things began to change. A strange mist enveloped the room, and no lantern could penetrate it. One of the group members screamed and collapsed to the floor. Then, as the others watched, the stone table shifted and a hole opened beneath it. Marguerite claimed she saw something stir deep within the hole. The sounds coming from it were human-like but incomprehensible. Despite their attempts to stop the ritual, everything spiraled out of control. One by one, the members of the group vanished, and only Marguerite remained. She was heard saying, moments before her disappearance, "The peace of the dead has been disturbed. The price must be paid." Today, this chamber is off limits. However, there are reports from explorers who claim to hear whispers and see mists near the area. The consequences of this ritual continue to echo through the catacombs. In 1871, during the chaos of the Paris Commune, Julien Moreau, a local composer, began having strange dreams. In his dreams, he saw a man playing a violin, but the man had no face. Only a vast, empty darkness filled the space where his face should have been. The man would always speak to Julien, saying the same thing, "To find the echo of music, you must go below." Julien, convinced these dreams were a call to the catacombs, took his violin, sheet music, and a lantern, and descended into the tunnels. As he wandered through the dark passages, he began playing the melody from his dreams. To his surprise, the echo of his violin was strange. Each note he played came back to him, but with subtle differences. It felt as though someone was playing with him or responding to his music. The deeper Julien ventured, the more intricate the echoes became. It was as if an entire orchestra was accompanying him, even though there was no one else around. Eventually, he reached a stone chamber where a plaque above the entrance read, "If you play this melody, there is no turning back." Ignoring the warning, Julien continued playing. When the melody ended, the stone door before him opened on its own. Inside, Julien saw a vast orchestra of skulls, their hollow eye sockets staring back at him. At the far end of the room, on a large bone throne, sat a dark figure who turned to him and said, "Now this is your concert hall." Julien was never seen again. His violin, however, was later found abandoned in the catacombs. Today, some explorers claim to hear the faint strains of his violin echoing through the tunnels. Those who follow the sound, however, are said to never return. To unravel the mystery of Julien's melody may require them to face the same fate as he did.